Are we on? There. Okay. Morning.
Good morning.
Hello. Hello, hello. Welcome back. Episode two. Episode
Yeah.
two incoming. So this morning we wanted to talk about how to build confidence in the gym. I've definitely been there. I'm sure you guys have as well, where especially when you first start, where you just kind of go to the gym, maybe for the first time. Oh, might not even be for the first time, where you just kind of like wandering around what's free, but you've got no sort of structure or anything to your sessions, and you just sort of machine hopping, which I actually still think is, I mean, I still see loads of people doing that in the gym at the minute. It's so common.
But then I kind of think it's a way of trying things as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's a hard one, isn't it? Because I think once you know that you want to go and be following a plan, which I would recommend, definitely do it. But I think there is something to be said for just going in a gym the first time. And I always say to people, just find a piece of cardio equipment to start with, like a bike
Mm,
or a treadmill or something that you're familiar with, because most people will be
yeah.
able to look at a bike and work it out. And then
Yeah.
just, I always say to people to start with, just have a little look round and see what everyone else is doing. Just take it in because
Yeah.
every gym's so different, aren't
Yeah. And it
they?
might even be that the get into the gym was the achievement. If it's someone who is quite, is struggling with perhaps getting there or for the first time, then it's like, let's celebrate that you've actually got there first
Yeah.
as
And if you
well.
get there and you find a bike and that's what you feel comfortable with, I would imagine, I don't know if you two are the same, that's probably how you first started as well.
Yeah.
Like I didn't start with a coach. I just joined a gym on my own. And it was
Mm.
kind of like, well, I know how to use a bike, so I'll use that. And then I used to sit and look at everyone else and think, what are they doing? Oh, that's how that machine works. That's how that works. Just kind of just use that as like a chance to have a nosy on what everyone's doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I think like you said, Katie, like the first off, just get in there because like you'd be like, right, I'm gonna go to the gym Saturday and then the weather's not good. So you might, if you might push something else, so you get a better offer or something like that. But I think just when you're going there, just manage your expectations. You're not gonna go in there, you're definitely not gonna know. Like even if I go to a new gym, I remember going to a gym in Hull, and it was quite a vigorous bodybuilding gym, and it was very overwhelming for me. All the
Yeah.
gym machinery was different. You're walking up to it and you're like, do I position it like that? Do I position it like that? I think first off, get into the gym, just manage your expectations. You're not going in there to know what you're doing. I think just go in there with the attitude that I'm going to have a look around. I might not like it, might not be for me. It might not give me the right feel. I think, like you said, jump on a piece of equipment that you're familiar with, whether it be treadmill or something like that. I think I remember I used to always go in and be like, find a water station or something like that. So while I'm filling my bottle up, I can just, take
Never
things
nosy.
in. Yeah, and I think like if you want to pick maybe a time slot, no matter where, Sunday afternoon, gyms are dead. So get yourself in Sunday
Yeah.
afternoon if you're thinking of trying. But yeah, I think it's just whether you're confident in the gym or whether you're brand new, I think going to a new gym is quite daunting.
Yeah, and I talked about that yesterday actually on my Instagram because I went to a different gym and a gym that I've trained at for years. Like I trained there back, it's the first gym membership I ever had before I went to university, and I trained there. So I still, it's not changed since I was there however long ago. But I went in yesterday and I was a bit like, oh gosh, like it was busy. It was
Mm,
a Saturday morning, it was busy. And even like as someone who's confident, every machine and every gym is different, isn't it? Like the way that you set something up is completely different gym to gym. So even as someone that's confident, I kind of walked in and was a bit like, whoa.
yeah.
And for me, I kind of have like a general mobility routine that I do to warm up. So I'm kind of like just find a mat somewhere, do
Yeah.
mobility. And I was just having a little look round. And even like you said, even as somebody that is more confident in a gym, it's still overwhelming to walk into somewhere new. And kind of links with what you said earlier as well about how impressive it is. I was saying this yesterday, just to walk into a gym is actually
Yeah.
incredible. Like it's terrifying, isn't it? I can imagine for the
Yeah, it
first
is. I
Yeah.
think even as well, like the gym I'm at the minute, and to be fair, I never normally go on an evening anymore just because it's so busy after work. and I hit that peak time, there was 123 people in there. So the plan that I had went completely to, well, I just didn't do it because there wasn't the stuff free that I wanted to be able to do. So even that, I probably looked as if I was sort of been like, right, okay, I had this exercise down, what can I swap it out for? And a bit of like, okay, that wasn't free, I'll go and do something else. Like, so even like when you've been doing it for years and you're familiar with that kind of environment, sometimes you probably look like you don't know what you're doing because it doesn't always go to plan.
Yeah. And there's something to be said as well for building your confidence up from home. And I think that's more and more common now, isn't it? That
Definitely.
you don't necessarily have to go to a gym to get a workout in. And it might be that you familiarize yourself with some kettlebell exercises from home, or some dumbbell exercises, or even some bodyweight exercises, so that when you get to the gym, you kind of, the first day you go, you might just repeat what you've been doing at home. You're just doing it at the gym, just to kind of take that step, but feel confident that actually all I need to do is find one kettlebell and I can do some swings, some presses, some squats, some lunges, something like that.
Yeah.
And I can just stay in one corner. And then I always say to people, every time you go, try and do one thing that's new.
Yeah.
And then it builds up over time. So on day one, you might just go on the bike, or day two, you might just do what you've done from home. And then day three, you might think, oh, I've seen people using that leg press, I'll go give it a go. Or I've seen people using that machine, I'll give it a go. And each day just add in one new thing. And before you know it, after a month, you're probably using the whole gym without it seeming so daunting.
Yeah, absolutely. I think thinking back to when I ventured into the gym, I was definitely a person that needed to go with someone. So it would either be my mum, my best friend, something like that. And I would like go for the more social, fun aspect of it rather than thinking I'm going to go into, you know, burn this amount of calories, have DOMs tomorrow, or, you know, move your purpose for what you're going in there for. And I think definitely going with some sort of plan, like you said, Katie, whether you stick to it or whether you don't, but if you just walk in, you've never been there before, it'd be nice to have an idea of just 3 machines that you want to give a go. And it might be that you do more sets and reps on those, and just kind of familiarize yourself with that. But if you can, I think taking a friend, whether they're a gym goer or whether they're not, but just going for like a fun social aspect of it.
Yeah, I would agree.
For sure.
It's hard to find that balance though, because when you've got a idea in your head and you're like, right, I'm starting the gym, you kind of build this picture up in your head of who you need to be or what you want to be, because you've got the influence of like social media and things like that. So I think, yeah, just kind of come away from that and just be like, I'm just gonna go do me and just stay in my zone.
Yeah.
I think as well, and I had a client actually, she was with me just before Christmas, and her goal wasn't necessarily like a number goal of wanting to lift like a certain amount or anything like that. But she was very much in this space of, she'd done a lot of running before. The gym was a bit of a new environment to her, and she was like, I just want to build my confidence in the gym. Like, do you mind giving me a bit of a show around, give me a bit of a structure so I know what I'm doing when I get in there? And to be honest, she was probably, I think she was only with me for about 8 weeks at the time, but she'd achieved what she wanted to do in that time, which was just building confidence in the gym, knowing how to structure her sessions, you know, a bit more knowledge around what can I swap this out for if this isn't available. And now, like, she doesn't need me now. She's off and doing her own thing. But if that's something that would help, then, you know, it's always a good idea to get a coach if that's something that you want to invest in. Or it's like, sometimes I'll get people that come to me just for more like introductory sessions because they want to check that the form's all right. Like, they're okay getting to the gym, but they're not sure if they're doing what they want to, right. Or if that's not the case, and I'll just say, right, do it at home, send me a video and I'll give you some feedback, because I can see it doesn't have to be like a session as such. So there are things if not working out.
Yeah, absolutely. I think as well, like YouTube's great. Like the app that I program all my clients from, it's got how to. So any programmed exercises, it shows a video of whatever. But like, again, anyone listening, if they haven't got that, just type in YouTube, like how to do a squat, or a squat broken down into 3 parts, or how to do a stiff leg deadlift, things like that. And I think as well, when you're going into the gym, just stick to those basic movements. Don't try and be doing
Oh my
any
God,
fancy,
yes.
fancy things. Just real basic. And you can get kind of wrapped with it. Oh, that seems quite interesting. You're gonna injure yourself, you're gonna hurt yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, just stay to that basic. And I think even anyone that's an experienced gym person that's seen progressive results, they will tell you get more from your basic compound movements than you do doing these,
Yeah.
I don't even know what they're called,
What they're called.
like half
Like
of this, half of that.
fluffy bits.
Yeah.
I think that is so true though. Like if someone's completely new to a gym, they might even not know. It sounds so simple, but they might not even know how to like deadlift properly and pick up a weight. Like, then let's start there.
It's not simple.
Because otherwise you just see people like their backs are hunched over, they're picking up this weight, and I'm like, oh no, you're gonna hurt yourself. But I'll never ever forget. I won't name the gym, but there was a girl in there that I was watching. This was probably going back about 2 or 3 years now, and she had the dumbbells like stood up. She was stood on top of the dumbbells, so there was wobbling, and then she was doing a Romanian deadlift off the top of these dumbbells,
That's
like stood
circus
up, and I was
act.
like, oh my God, she's gonna break her ankle. Like, somebody
Yeah.
stop her.
I think there was an era that like it went round on Instagram where people were doing the leg abductor machines, and they're like standing up, and they've got like these like big glue probably got
Yeah.
glue implants or something, and they're doing this all sorts. And I can remember me and my friend going, and we was trying to give it a try, and I'm not even kidding, it was so embarrassed like what we was doing. But like I'm like, we've all done it, we've all tried it.
Oh,
You're
absolutely.
like,
Yeah.
wow, look at her glutes, they look amazing. I need a bit of that. I need to be doing that move. Like, no, take it back to basics,
No.
simplicity, focusing on like your form, like you said, Katie. But yeah, you can, if you've got an adventurous mind, you can go a bit in that
Yeah.
direction.
I do think that's one of the things, isn't it, though, on social media, like what you were saying earlier, Jamie. It's like that person who probably had that big bum, like, she's not doing that in her own
Yeah.
routine. She'll be doing like heavy hip thrust. She's not standing on an abductor machine and doing it. Like, that's not happening. That's not how she got those results.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And genetics comes into a big part of it as well. Because when
Yeah.
you're looking around the gym, and as you do, you're appreciating other people's physiques that they've worked hard on. And I am all for one for appreciating she looks
Yeah.
great,
Yeah.
whatever. And but you've got to take into account people's genetics, people's background. If you've been a swimmer, triathlete, and then you move across to the gym, you're gonna look like you're already a big player in there. But if you've been working at an office all your life, you've been managed to be a lawyer, and you've moved and now you're venturing into the gym, you might look totally different in that. But yeah, I think just take into consideration that you're no one else. So just focus on you.
Yeah.
And that
I think,
everybody does start somewhere. And like, we'll all remember the first time we went to the gym. Like, I had no idea what I was doing. And you don't need to know what you're doing when you first join. And it's kind of fun to learn as you go, isn't it? Like,
yeah.
you join, and like I said that I'd recommend you go on the bike. That's what I did. Like, I'd go on the bike and I'd look at what other people do. And then a lot of gym inductions now don't go through a lot, do they? A lot of gym inductions are, change anything on a machine that's yellow. That's your weights, that's your resistance, off you go.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
forget even where the fire exit is. And I remember when I do my PT, I was like, remember to tell them where the fire exit is.
Yeah. There's so much that when you do your course, though, isn't there, your PT course, and your induction to the gym is like an hour long. But nowadays, a lot of them don't do an induction, do they? Or it's
No.
like, there's
And
your
I
weights
think,
machine, there's that, off you go.
yeah, and I think sometimes as well, unfortunately, you see it way too often. And this isn't me calling out every single gym instructor by any stretch of the imagination, but sometimes you don't see them correcting people when they've maybe spotted that, they're in the gym, they're the first time, then maybe form's a little bit bad, maybe, at risk of hurting themselves, and some don't go over and correct that. I think that they should. I was at the gym the other day, and there was these two girls doing like face pulls, and one of them was doing all right, and gym instructor went over to her, was like, I'm really sorry, I've got to step in because you're doing it really badly. But I was like, that's what that should be.
Yeah, and don't take criticism if that's
No, it's not.
if a gym instructor does come over and they say, oh, hi, I see you new here, do you want any help? Take that help. Like,
Sure.
I definitely was one, and I'd be like, oh, no, I'm fine. But, take that help. That's definitely a mistake. Like, soak up all the help that you can get. I used to, go away and do my own research and then go back again and try and do it better. But I think as well, videoing yourself is a big one. I know that you're not going to be at the stage of videoing yourself when you first walk into a gym, but I never ever had a PT or a gym coach or anything like that. And I just did it by like watching myself. You know what's right and what's wrong. And when you're doing it, or like, if you've got a friend and they're a bit more if they're a bit more kind of experienced in the gym, get them to critique you, but be open to that critique. It's someone trying, as long as it's coming
trying to help,
nice way.
Yeah, I think that's as well, like, and you even see it, don't you, with males in the gym where their form's not great, but they're racking up the weight, and it's just like they're so attached to lifting as heavy as they can, but actually probably aren't getting the most out of it because their form's not very good. And again, that's another thing. I'm always like, am I feeling this exercise where I should be feeling it? I know if I'm starting to do, I don't know, Romanian deadlifts, and I'm starting to feel it in my back after a few reps, well, then I stop. I don't carry on doing it. It's like, it's recognizing that, isn't it? Yeah,
absolutely.
And that's the thing it's like teach you as well on your PT course, isn't it? Start lower, build your confidence, check your form is right before you then add weight on. So the first time I do any exercise in the day, I'll do it lighter. Just make sure I'm feeling it right now. I'm ready to load it up. And if you're not sure, just keep it lighter and just work on those lighter reps. And also, I would say it links to when you first join, how long everyone has this idea in their head that you need to be in the gym for an hour, don't they? I don't know where this magic hour comes from, but everyone thinks to do an hour in the gym. But when you first starting out, if you go in and do an hour and then can't walk the next day, so you can't go back the next day, then that's not going to build consistency. Whereas if you go a little bit lighter, you might only do half an hour to start with, get confident, and then leave. And then the next day you might think, oh, I can feel I did something, but you might be ready to go back again. And then you might get 3 or 4 sessions in a week, or 2 or 3, instead of getting 1 and then not being able to walk for the rest of the week because you've been there for an hour, you've pushed the weight, challenged it. And we've all been there and we've all done it. After a holiday or whatever, when you go back and you think, oh, I'll lift what I was lifting before my holiday, and then you can't walk the next day.
I was like that after pregnancy. That was a big shock. That was a real big shock. I think you're right, Katie, in what you were saying, because I remember when we trained together, and we are like totally different physiques and things like that. We've both been going to the gym for years and years. We had a great time training together. We was helping each other, but I can no way near lift what you can lift on certain moves. You're a lot taller than me, things like that. So I think that when you are training with someone else, again, just stay in your own lane. What can I do? What's good for me? Because I'm sure if all 3 of us trained, like, Sarah, you're super flexible. Katie, you're a lot stronger than me, but then I might be able to do different things compared to you girls. I think just be supportive of whoever you're training with, but also appreciate you don't need to do that. You can be like, oh, I want to work towards that and push yourself, but don't like take it as a negative if you're not quite there yet. Perfect, girls. Well, I've loved catching up with you. I think those tips will be super helpful for people listening, and then we can jump on episode 3 and discuss some more topics.
That's it. All right. Have a good Sunday.
Have a good Sunday. See you soon.
See you later. Bye.